Welcome to Trauma Recovery Anonymous. This is a very simple program for complicated people. Do you suffer with depression caused by a past trauma memory? And you want to be free of it completely and permanently? If so, Trauma Recovery Anonymous is the answer. Do you suffer with a mental disorder like PTSD caused by a past trauma memory? And you want to break free of it, to be free of it completely and permanently, then Trauma Recovery Anonymous is the answer. If you suffer with any mental disorder that has been caused by the memory of a past trauma, and you want to break free of it completely and utterly, then Trauma Recovery Anonymous is the solution you have been looking for. The truth is, we exist in this moment and time only. What happened yesterday, last week, last month, last year, or decades ago happened to a younger aspect of ourselves, not to us, because we only exist in this moment in time. So in my case, I'm a 65-year-old man today, giving this presentation to you. And 50 odd years ago in my lifetime, there was a child, a 12-year-old child, who suffered a loss of innocence. That child suffered the loss of innocence, not this 65-year-old man. I can't go around telling the whole world that I was molested when I was a child, because this 65-year-old man can't be anything else but 65 years of age. I carry the memory of what happened to that 12-year-old child, and I carry sympathy pains for him as a show of support and solidarity for the loss of innocence he suffered. But he suffered it, not me. If you're a veteran and you're in your 60s or 70s, understand you're looking down the tunnel of life. Today you are the survivor. You look down that tunnel, you look into your past, and you see in your past history there's a younger version of you, maybe 18 or 19, who enlisted to go off to fight in a war, and they suffered the trauma. They were the victim, and you are the survivor. And the next step is to go from survivor either to helper, to help other people, or to be a victor and to walk away from it completely and have your own life. But you're not meant to stay in the stage of survivor. You survived the past. It didn't happen to you. It's got nothing to do with you. It's not your job to process it or to save your inner child. That's why we call him the inner child. We know it's not us. We didn't suffer it. The inner child suffered it. The inner child doesn't need our help to deal with the past. We wouldn't be standing today if our inner child had been overcome by the trauma. But our inner child suffered, endured, survived and overcame the trauma. And we know this because we're alive today. We have a life today that they sacrificed so much for it to give to us, that we have an obligation to them to let them go, to give them back the details and baggage of the past, the sympathy, the pains that we accumulated over the intervening months or years, to give all of it back to them and let them leave this plane of existence to step into the light, to go into the mansion, prepare for them in our Father's mansion, so they can go back to our ancestors and be free to go to the fifth dimension where there is no pain or hurt, and they can be free from all the turmoil that they suffered on this earth. But they can't leave until they have all their baggage. When we go and we take their baggage and we bring it into our present and we declare it happened to us, we become part of their abuse. We take them hostage in the present and they cannot leave because we're holding them hostage against their will. We think we're reparenting and we're doing a good thing for inner child, but we've taken them hostage. They're not meant to live or endure the present. They had a hard enough time living life on this earth in their lifetime. They just want to leave and go to a safe place, and the safe place for them is the fifth dimension, where they'll be with their ancestors in spirit, where there's no harm or hurt, to be free. And for them to get there, we have to let them go. When we bring their past into the present, we bring the death, decay and disease of that dead thing into our present, and destroys everything and everyone it touches, and also destroys our morals and our ethics and our principles and our humanity and our ability to be loving and kind and nurturing and empathetic and to build healthy relationships. We have to get this disease from our bodies, and the only way to do this is to give it back to its rightful owner. And Trauma Recovery Anonymous offers a two-part solution. The first part is healing any trauma memory. It's solely available on the Amazon platform. It's a 2-hour process whereby you give the details and the baggage and the sympathy pains and whatever else you're carrying for that younger aspect of you back to them, and they take it and step into the light. And in that moment, you feel the release in your body mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. One moment, someone could ask you about the past and how it makes you feel, and it would trigger you. The next moment, they ask you how about the past and how it makes you feel, and you're able to say, it didn't happen to me, it's none of my business. My younger self has left this plane of existence, he's stepped into the light, and he's taken all his baggage with him. And I feel for them, but it happened to them, not to me. I want to move on in my life. Can you help me to set healthy boundaries, making amends and restitution and so on, and you live your life in the present? It really is that simple. It only takes 2 hours to achieve this goal. If you want to break free of your depression or your post-traumatic stress or any mental disorder that's been diagnosed based on a past trauma memory, this 2-hour healing event will allow you to do that. Once we complete the 2-hour healing event, we then do the 12 steps of Trauma Recovery Anonymous, which is available on Amazon and on all other book platforms. And those 12 steps teach you a design for living, one day at a time, how you break free of the mental disorder diagnosis, and the dysfunctional behavior of that diagnosis, the bad habits learned from that diagnosis, so you can be a part of life. You can make amends to your family around you for having brought a dead thing into the house. You know, they talk about the cat. What did the cat bring in? Well, where the cat bringing a dead thing into the house? And the dead thing was that event that happened to a younger self. So whether you're a veteran, or like me, you suffered a childhood trauma, or maybe you experienced 9/11, or maybe you were married for love, not knowing that your lover actually was a narcissist and was a hostage taker. And today you're free of that relationship, looking back on the younger aspect of you who married that narcissist. The younger aspect of you who suffered 9/11. It wasn't you, because you're alive here, safe and sound today. And the worst thing is for a parent who loses a child. Grief and loss of a loved one is terrible, but for a parent to lose a child, it's a horrible thing. So understand that the person you are today isn't losing the child today. You carry the memory of a younger aspect of you. Maybe you're in your 60s now and you lost your child when you were 40. Well, understand, you didn't lose the child. You carry the memory of that loss. But a 40-year-old version of you lost that child, and you have to let them go and let them take that lost child and step into the light so they can be safe together, take care of each other. So you need to let them go as well, and so on. What happened in the past didn't happen to you or I. It happened to a younger aspect of us, and we have an obligation, a duty, to let go of our younger self. For instance, I've been speaking now for 7 minutes and 43 seconds and counting, so let's say 8 minutes. So 9 minutes ago, you knew none of this. You were set in your ways. Maybe you were believing that you had PTSD or depression, and you were angry at the world and angry at you were doing your best, taking all the medications, the therapy, and you were alienated and estranged from your family and your friends, and you couldn't get a job or hold down a job, and you were in this terrible state. And then you hear this 8 minutes of truth, and this truth sets you free. The thing is, you can't go back to staying where you were, because now you know the past was not yours to suffer, and there is a solution. So it may take you weeks, it might take you months to actually do this truthful solution to heal the hole in your soul. But somewhere this will start niggling away at you, and you'll come to realize that the past didn't happen to you. All you have to deal with is what's in front of you today. Grab 2 sheets of paper. At the top, write your name and age of who you are today, and write a biography of who you are today, who's in your family, your life, where you live, what you work at, what you don't work at, your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations, only about you in these 24 hours. Don't bring any of the past into it. Don't bring any of the future into it. Don't bring any of your anger, resentments. Who you are. If someone said to you, who are you, Richard? I would say, well, I am a husband and a father. I'm married to Bo, and I've got 2 children, Queen and Kevin. They're both in college, and I'm a trauma recovery coach, and I am a podcast host, and I love to play golf and go cycling and swimming, and I also love playing chess and backgammon, and I like playing the odd game of cards, and so on. I've hopes and dreams. I want to take my family to live permanently in Ireland. We now live in Thailand. I've been here 20 years. I'm ready to move. And this is my truth. And then you take the second page and you write on the top of the page the name and age of that younger aspect of you who suffered the trauma. So if you're a veteran, on the first page is you as you are today. And then the other one is the 18-year-old younger version of you. And if your name is Richard today, we might give his name Richie or Rich. So young 18-year-old Rich went off to war. Young 18-year-old Richie went off to war. It might be JR, it might be Junior, there might be a nickname he had. You give him that name. You want to separate you from that younger aspect. So young 18-year-old so-and-so went off to war. Young 19-year-old so-and-so went off to war and suffered a loss of innocence. For me, it's a young 12-year-old child called Richie suffered a loss of innocence. And I carry the memory of what happened to him, and I carry sympathy pains for him as a show of support and solidarity for what he went through. And then on that page I write all about him, where he lives, who he lives with, and I make sure that I put the same kind of information on both pages. So on my page, my parents are dead, my grandparents are dead, I have all my siblings, one died of leukemia. I don't live in the family home in Ireland. The family home in Ireland is sold, and so on. I put all this information down on my side, and then on his side, he lives in the family home with his parents. All his siblings are alive. His grandparents are alive. All his aunts and uncles are alive. And then you put in his personal stuff, what interests he likes. He likes to play rugby. He likes to play games in school. He loves going to school. He loves all his friends and his schoolmates. And he plays soccer in the street, and he plays soccer in the yard. And this kind of stuff, and you put down all his likes and whatever, fishing, all the things he did as a child, and then you put down he suffered a loss of innocence, and you put that down on his page. And then if you can grab a picture of him and clip it on that page, and a picture of you today and clip it on your page, you can see the two different people. Your life is here in the here and now, and his life was, in my case, 50 years ago. We're not the same person. I didn't live his life, and he's not living my life. His life happened to him. My life is happening to me. So it's not my job to suffer his life for him. It's my job to embrace the life that he sacrificed so much for. My life is to live fully in the present of who I am today. The past is none of my business anymore, and the future may never happen. I am to focus all of my life in the present. But to do this, I have to get rid of the energy around the past trauma. It's not the trauma itself, because it didn't happen to me, but it's a dark energy that's attached to that trauma that I've brought into my life, and it's eating away at my soul. It's eating away at my morals and my ethics and my principles and my ability to love and be loved and to be kind and compassionate. And I have to remove that energy from my body. And this program, How to Heal Any Trauma Memory, is an energy removing practice. We're getting rid of that dark energy from our whole body, from the top of our head down to our fingertips and down to our toes, and healing our heart inside and our chest and the rest of our body. We're cleansing our body completely, so that 2 hours later that energy has left us, and you'll feel the release of that energy mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It's very hard to put it into words, but when you experience the event of this, you will know it's gone. Maybe 2 hours before you could describe in detail what the pain was like, but now you can't describe it anymore because you don't owning it anymore. Now all you can say is, yeah, my 12-year-old version of me suffered a trauma, and it was horrific for him, but I can't describe what it was like because it didn't happen to me. And that's where you get to. So whether you've been in having depression or PTSD for weeks, months, years, or decades, you can be free of it today in a 2-hour practice. You purchase the books on Amazon, and then you contact me on this email I have included below, and I will take you through the process. This is a program that I created, and I am married with children, and I've got a roof over my head and clothes on my back and food on the table, and I charge for my service. The charge is €60 for this 3-hour practice. You're paying for the 2-hour healing event, and then you're getting the 1-hour 12-step introduction free. And then subsequently, I will take you through the 12 steps once a day for 12 days to get you firmly ensconced in the idea of the 12-step program. And once you have healed yourself, you then become a member of Trauma Recovery Anonymous, the 12-step program, and you can enter into a group. We don't go into the group as victims broken. We come into the group whole and complete. This makes us different to every other 12-step program. If you want to join AA and you're drinking, you can go and be a member in AA even though you're drinking. You can have drink taken, and you can go to an AA meeting, and same with NA and all the other 12-step programs. But in this program, it's different. In this program, we heal first. We do the healing event, we get rid of the past, so when we're in this 12-step program, we're part of the solution from the very go. My name is Richard Tierney. I am the creator of Trauma Recovery Anonymous, and this program has been approved of by AA World Service. I say the healing event and the 12-step program are available on Amazon, and the 12-step programs are available on other platforms. And I include an email. You can contact me. I can take one person through this event, or I can take 100 people through this event at one time. So if you're in a group, support group for PTSD or depression, and you have a few friends of yours who are feeling sick and tired of feeling sick and tired and they want to get well, you can come together to support one another. The idea is that I don't need to know your story, and you don't need to tell another person your story. So when I meet with you, you will take hold of the mantra. I carry the memory of what happened to my younger self, and you'll put a name and an age on him, and I carry simply pains for what he or she suffered and their loss of innocence. So everybody can use the same mantra, do the same exercise, but for each of us it's individual. So my mantra refers to a 12-year-old child. Your mantra might refer to an 18-year-old younger version of you who enlisted. Your mantra might be about a young father who lost a child, or a young mother who lost a child. Your mantra might be about someone who married for love and married a narcissist. Your mantra might be 9/11. Your mantra might be a car crash or an accident. So everybody can work this program at the same time, which is really cool. You come to a healing event where you're all on the same page, you're all getting healed at the same time, and you can discuss how it went for each other afterwards. And then as a group, you have your own group formed, and then I take you to the 12 steps a day, every day for 12 days. And then you're set to have your own group and start your own group and mix with other groups. My name is Richard Tierney. This is Trauma Recovery Anonymous. This works if you choose to embrace it. You're giving the details, the baggage, and the sympathy pains of the past back to your younger self. Science tells us it's all about cause and effect. What happened in the past didn't happen to you. It happened to your younger aspect of you. And you have an obligation and a duty to return that baggage to them so they can step into the light. Once you've completed that, you undo the learned dysfunctional behaviors of the effect, of how it manifested in your life, because now the event is gone. There's no longer any rhyme or reason to suffer the mental disorder diagnosis because the event has left your psyche. And so you have to unlearn all those dysfunctional behaviors and coping skills of that mental disorder diagnosis. Maybe you can keep one or two, but generally speaking, you've got to remove them from your psyche for the rest of your days. You do this with this 12-step program. You do these 12 steps maybe really intensely the first few times, but then you learn to ask yourself these 12 questions morning, noon, and evening. And they're very 12 simple questions. The first question is, I am not a victim. Have I behaved like a victim today, yes or no? And if I haven't, I've completed the first step. If I have, I need to make restitution, apologize to the person for being a victim when it wasn't all about me. Number two is, no, I'm never truly alone. There are so many higher powers on this earth. I'm going to ask for help, whether it's from a stranger, from a family member, parents, siblings, and so on. Richard, 12-step recovery groups, all these library resources, Spotify, YouTube, there's so much resources out there. I'm never truly alone. I can always talk to somebody. I can go into a church and go to confessional and give all my crap to a priest in the confessional and then leave and never go back again. There's always some solution on this earth you can use to talk to somebody. Get a therapist, get a psychotherapist, and so on. The third step is stop arguing whether there is a God or there isn't. Stop arguing whether the chicken or the egg came first, except there is a God. He cares about you. He wants to be in your life. He wants you to live abundantly, but it has to be on his term, not on your terms. He's not a go-get-you God you call on when you're having a bad day and then cast him aside when you're having a good day. He has to be a permanent fixture in your life. You talk to him morning, noon, and night. When you're walking the dog, when you're washing the dishes, when you're driving the car, have a conversation. If you never go to a church in your lifetime, that's okay. If you join a church, that's okay. If you never join a denomination, that's okay. And if you join a denomination, that's okay. You're to have a personal, intimate relationship with God. Steps 49 is you cleaning your side of the street and then making amends for anyone you've harmed or hurt, walking around with this death in your life, walking around with this dead thing that the cat brought in and letting you touch people and places around you. You make amends to those people for doing that. And then 10, 11, 12 is you take a daily adventure by asking these 12 questions of yourself every morning, every evening, and then during your lunch break and so on. Step 11 is to meditate on prayer. And your prayer can be just gratitude. You can decide, I am really grateful that I found this program because it's made me feel, and then get into a whole space of why you feel so grateful. You can talk about your senses. I have my eyesight. I'm not colorblind. I can taste food. I can chew my own food. I can swallow my own food. I can feel. I can smell, and so on. I can dress myself. I can go to the toilets on my own. All these kind of things you can be grateful for. That's your meditation. You're meditating on gratitude. And then forgiveness and forgetfulness. You forgive yourself because you didn't realize you made an error. It wasn't your job to carry the past. And you forgive yourself for doing that. And you forget that role you gave yourself. It's no longer your role. You're no longer a victim. It's no longer about you or Whatever happens outside of you is none of your concern. Not about people pleasing or saving anybody. If the innocent are being attacked, it's your job as a human being to defend the weak, the innocent. And you stand by that. But you're not going to interfere in people's lives. That is not needed. So if the police are there, they're doing a great job of it. You let them do it. If the police need help, you help them, and so on. You learn as you go on. And then step 12 is you carry this message to other people in your groups. You say, listen, I came across this guy and he gave this talk, and 20 minutes later I was a changed man or woman and I could never go back to being a victim, and so I did the program and now I'm completely free of the past, and I've broken down my depression and PTSD and it's no longer in my life. I'm no longer on medication for those things. I'm working with a new therapist, I'm working with my old therapist, and new things, and my life is beyond my wildest dreams. I've got a job again, I'm moving out of the house into my own place, and I'm stacking shelves. It's only stacking shelves, but it's better than doing nothing. It's better than being dependent on state. I now have an income coming in. I'm still getting social welfare for certain things, but I'm my own man. I'm my own woman. I'm looking at starting a relationship and having families. This is your new path. You are meant to be a part of this life. You were created to move mountains. You're a child of God, perfect exactly as you are. Others can do what you can do, but nobody can do what you can do with your energy. That's what makes you so unique and so special. So understand, the past is not yours. You have to give the past back to your younger self. And Trauma Recovery Anonymous is the only solution I know of right now that enables you to do this in 2 hours or less. Thank you very much.